If you don't have any question, I will continue.
No, sir, I have a question.
Today I will. Yes, please. Do you have questions?
Yes, sir. The assignment part, the assignment together. The last question said the case study. I didn't
Yes.
get when it was saying use in each cell. I didn't understand that part because number one, I didn't see any cell or any graph. There was no table.
There was no table.
Yeah, in the assignment part.
Let me check. I don't know. Maybe it is not uploaded. I will check and tell you. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Which question you are talking about?
The last one, the case study.
Okay.
Yeah.
The assignment is already over, isn't it? Due time is over. Isn't it?
Yes, it's over. Yeah.
Let me check. You have to draw by yourself the diagram. You are understanding. You got it. It is requested to do the diagram by yourself. You have to draw the diagram by yourself. I don't know which diagram you are talking about or which table. You have to put the diagram. You understand? Are you understanding? Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I understand.
So it was easy example. I think it was easy for you. It should be easy for you because it was not a very difficult question. It is only a very simplest case study for your level. If you don't, then no problem. We will see. If you did the rest, is also okay. If you tried and you didn't, then it's okay because this is assignment. Okay. Today, as I said to you, I will give you the chapter 2 and 3. The last lecture we have done the David Ricardo and Adam Smith comparative advantages and absolute advantages theories. And today I'm going to combine these two together and giving you the example to see the impact of this trade to the economy. And in the following chapters, you will see the tax also, the tariff, impact of tariff on this direction to the economy, how it is affecting the trade relations, these barriers, so-called the measures applied to the international trade or sanctions, you may say, or tariff, non-tariff barriers. But before this, I will give you the application, the opportunity cost on the final cost or final products, not final cost, final products and inputs, how it is affecting and changing the trade relations or the capacity will be introduced to you in this class, in this lecture, and then it is finished. Today, as I said to you, I will start again with this production possibility frontier for flashback you the trade capacity because this is the application. This will be used for explaining these theories. So it is better to understand this production possibility frontier clearly. The production possibility frontier given here is for the two products, the butter and gums. And this is given to you for being able to understand the combination of two products, which is assumed to be a scenario there is only two products in the economy, and these are used for enlarging and increasing the production. Yes, please. Yes, I'm listening. We have question. Nokutenda. You have any question?
No, sir.
I'm waiting. Okay. As I said to you, this production positive frontier, as you see, it is concave to the origin, and there is somehow inverse U-shaped, so-called, illustrated. And on this curve, we are assuming we have the full capacity production operation. Below this curve, there is lower production, insufficient production. You have the capacity to enlarge and increase the production. And above this curve, there is insufficiencies. We can't do this. We can achieve this production operation process. As you are seeing here, point A is the production where we have the capacity to enlarge and increase towards to this curve, towards to this production positive frontier or curve. And X is the excessive part where we are not achieving. You have to enlarge your either the technology or your production technique or your capacity, your um, firm or your factory should be enlarged the capacity to being able to enlarge this to the X. On B, C, and D, the curve on these points is supposed to be, we have the capacity. We have used the capacity as it is given, full capacity. Therefore, in this production possible frontier, if we are choosing any of this, it says this is the optimal bundle for given scenario. And as you are observing at B, it is supposed there is much guns and less butter, as you are observing, because there are sufficient gun production and less, the capacity is high, as you are observing towards to the C, but it is used for the point B less. And when we are looking to the C, this opposite case realized. There is less lower production in guns, which the capacity is sufficient, but the combination, because of the consumption capacity or the demand capacity, the butter consumption and production is realized at point C. And at point D, you are observing there is bilaterally equal, almost equal consumption and production. If we are adding on this curve, this uh, uh, consumer budget curve, which is going to be tangent to this, and the indifference curve, which is representing the produce consumers' preferences, then we will probably reaching the equilibrium at point D, where the guns and butters production and consumption sufficiently used with an existing capacity. Therefore, above these points where you are observing, as you see, point B, we have sufficient butter in the economy, in domestic economy, to export it because we are not consuming it. It is only produced very small amount, but the capacity is huge. We can enlarge and increase the capacity towards to the C probably, or towards to the D, for becoming more competitive, because as I said to you, we have sufficient butter production capacity at point B, but the consumption probably is much better fitted for the guns, which is too high comparing to the butter at point B. Therefore, the rest of the butter at point B, which is representing the horizontal axis, x-axis, should be exported. And when we are going to the C, this is the opposite case. Then we have to export some guns because we have sufficient production capacity for guns, but in the consumption and production, probably the point C, the best possible option, because we didn't illustrate here the indifference curve and budget and everything. Then the quantity for butter is sufficiently consumed in the market, but in the domestic market, but the rest of the guns which is not produced can be produced and exported to the other destination, because if we are considering this production positive frontier where they are having sufficient production for guns and butters combination as a scenario, then we have to use any of this which is more than C above gun and more than B for the butter should be exported. And when we are coming to the D, there is sufficient consumption and production in the domestic market, but as you are observing, above these touch points for the guns and for the butters, we have some more capacity to produce and export. Therefore, we can then the rest of this production, which is not consumed in the domestic market, we can direct to the other destination for enlarging our capacity. Otherwise, it will become surplus or overproduction. Therefore, from this point of view, we are understanding production possible frontier can be used for explaining the trade relations. You are understanding now when we have these intersection points at point B, D, or C, any of these points showing us how many units of products, either butter or gun, is going to be exported or should be exported for reducing the surplus capacity in the domestic market. When we look to this curve, we are understanding there is some capacity for using in the trade relations. And production capacity is also related with the opportunity cost. And as much as you are giving something to get something is the representation for the opportunity. And as it is written here, not all costs involve direct monetary outlays. Economists distinguish between explicit costs and implicit costs. Explicit costs that involves direct monetary outlays, and implicit costs that do not involve outlays of cash. Therefore, this is also important in the production to determine how many units of production is going to affect and change this cost for estimating and determining the cost and benefits in the economy. The production possibility frontier is also important because this curve shows the maximum possible production level, as I mentioned to you, of one commodity for any production level of another, and given the existing levels of the factors of production and the state of technology. And points outside the production possibility curve are unattainable, as I said to you, because it is overproduction, needs some more capacity or technology or some other factors of production for reaching to this level, maybe capital, maybe workers, maybe technology. With existing resources and technology, if the trade does not occur with an external producers, then as I said to you, it should be supported with other instruments, either foreign direct investment or other technological capacity enlargement or capacity enlargement in the production, using more workers or enlarging the buildings or the firm's capacity. These things is required for these outside points, and without trade, each country is supposed to be on this production possible frontiers, consumes only what it produces. However, because of specialization and trade, the absolute quantity of goods available for consumption is higher than the quantity that will be available under national economical self-sufficiency, which is important. You have to
So
determine which point. Yes, please. I'm listening.
why not take go take water first?
Tell me.
Why not take a break to go and take water first?
Ah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's okay. Production positive frontier and opportunity cost. A production positive frontier shows the maximum combination of factors that can be produced, as I mentioned to you on this curve. We are having this full capacity, and moving from point A to B will lead to increase in service some 27 to 21, or vice versa. For the goods and services, it is 27 to 21, or 21 to 27, or for the goods 22 to 18, or from 18 to 22. You have to replace. If you are going to giving up some services, then you reach 21, then 6 units of services will be excluded, but you are increasing the goods capacity 4 units, which is going to be 22. And it is also questionable whether you have to do this replacement or substitution or not. You will learn in this class. Moving from point A to B will lead to increase in services 21 to 27, as I said, and the opportunity cost is that output of goods falls from 22 to 18. Either you are going to increase or decrease goods, and increase and decrease either or services for being able to make some extra contribution or services. Therefore, the opportunity cost of increasing consumption of services is the for goods foregone, it says. We are assuming here, we are just only using the goods preferences in this example. And opportunity cost from this point of view is clearly the value of the next best alternative that is foregone when another alternative is chosen. Therefore, you have to determine which alternative you are going to prefer for the former one. If it is better for you, it will bring you better off, your trade become better, then you will use these preferences. The opportunity cost or alternative cost is the loss of potential gain from other alternatives when one particular alternative is chosen over the others. What you sacrifice is divided to what you gain is the opportunity cost. So simply, sunk costs that have already been incurred or happened and cannot be recovered, not repaid, not covered. You spend something and you go somewhere else, for example, to the cinema or whatever it is, and then it's finished. Non-sunk costs that are incurred only if a particular decision made, thus avoid if the decision is not made. For this reason, non-sunk costs are called also avoidable costs. Here, then the non-sunk cost, you are on the, let's say, decision. You didn't realize it. You may realize it, or you have realized, but you can get back when you don't want it. Therefore, this cost and benefit analysis is also included to this trade relations. Win-win or lose-lose, or lose-win or win-lose. It is depending what kind of trade relations you are going to create, whether it is bringing you benefits or it is increasing your cost or reducing your cost. It is very important to analyze. First, we are starting with the simplest model where we are not including this non-tariff measure, so-called the tax that is collected by the governments, but we are just only concentrating to this trade capacity in absolute advantages and the comparative advantages, which is also important contribution and is still considerable importance for the international trade, is going to be analyzed in the following slides. Then we have here the production positive frontier and the estimation of the opportunity cost. As you are seeing here, we have the production positive frontier, which is becoming to the so-called equilibrium at point 2000 for V producers and 1000 for the CD producers. And from this point of view, B is the lack of production can be enlarged and increased towards to the point E or towards to the production positive frontiers, and C and A representing the capacity for the equilibrium, which is going to be used for the model, and it can be shifted to the D here, where you are observing either you are going to increase the TV production and giving up some CD, or you may reduce it if it is as you are observing here. Not then we are shifting the production for TV and reducing the CD. Therefore, if you were in the first place at D and moving to E, then you are going to give up some TV production and getting some extra CD. But here we are giving up some CD for getting more TV because we are moving from E to D. Therefore, the opportunity cost calculation, as I said to you, is the return on options not chosen will be subtracted from the return on chosen option. The opportunity cost of TV to CD is supposed to be, in a given example, which is represented on this table, is supposed to be for the A combination 10 to 0, for the B combination 5 between CD and TV, and for the C 0 to 20. Then the opportunity cost for this TV to CD is 10 TV is 5 CD. Differences between this ABC is supposed to be 5. And the opportunity cost for the 1 TV then is 10 to 10 is going to be 1 to 2, because you are going to make this comparison between these changes, between this replacement from moving A to B. Then you are having 10 TV to 10, it is 1 to 1, and moving as it is given here to B is then 5 TV, then we'll reduce it to 5. Then the opportunity cost is then the proportion of this two replacement or the substitution 1 to 2, which is almost the half of it. Therefore, 1 TV production, or the opportunity cost for producing 1 TV, is going to be 2 CD, can be so-called formulated and assumed. And the opportunity cost for the 1 CD is supposed to be 5 to 5 when we are going to replace the position. Then we have 1 CD is going to be 2 TV production for replacing this CV or proportional CV to the CD. Then will gives you this 2 unit. Therefore, you will determine which opportunity cost to give up and which opportunity cost to get is better for you, is depending to your performance and to your capacity and your preferences. And when we are moving to this example a little bit further, the opportunity cost for Lisa is supposed to be 5 to 5 for CD and 3 to 5 for CD as an assumption, and the opportunity cost for Thomas 10 to 10 for CD and 2 to 5 for the TV. Therefore, when you are looking to these performances, you are understanding that the CD performance and the replacement is assumed to be better off, because you are getting a little bit better if you are preferring this option. Or if you want to substitute with the CD, then you are observing it is less than this, because this 1-to-1 proportional opportunity cost is used for the Lisa, for the CDs, and for the TV is almost some 0.80 some, which is or 6 some, which is not high for the replacement between each other. And for the Thomas, similarly realize it is 2 to 5 is almost 0.5 or something, and 10 to 10 is 1 again. Then you see the opportunity cost is higher for the Thomas when you consider the CD production. When we are looking to the absolute and comparative advantages for being able to compare, following example is given. Then we are going to analyze now this example step by step for being able to understand this opportunity cost from the producer side, or from the production, or from the product level, and also from the input level. As you see, the input level is different than products, because when you are giving something to get something, you want always to get more, isn't it? Therefore, the opportunity cost is always suggest you should better off when you are giving up something to get something. And in a given example, the absolute advantages theory suggests, as you are understanding, the quantity and the price is the reason for giving up the production or something to produce and getting something. When you are looking to this table, you may say China has the advantages on iron and cars bilaterally, because it has more production and more products for iron ore and cars production. Due to this reason, we may suggest um, in the following estimation, the world where there are only two countries producing goods, iron ore and cars, is given scenario. And the table, as I mentioned to you, China produced 80 units of iron ore and 100 units of car, while Australia produced 70 and 50. And from this point of view, the absolute advantages, as I mentioned to you, dependent to the quantity produced and the price. And since it is here the quantity given, then you are observing only the advantages is calculated in the absolute advantages story by looking to the numbers, and it says both iron ore or cars are beneficial, or having more opportunity, or offering more opportunity cost to the China. The comparative advantages, coming to the scenario now, the comparative advantages theory is not like absolute advantages, because absolute advantages theory based on the real cost advantages, and comparative advantages theory based on the relative lower cost advantages. Absolute advantages based on the real lower cost, but comparative advantages based on the relative lower cost advantages. From this point of view, we are understanding that we have to put this opportunity cost into the estimation for bringing better understanding to these trade relations. A country is said to have a comparative advantages if it produces a good and services with the lower opportunity cost. Lower opportunity cost, as I said to you, has also mean lower relative opportunity cost, because we are going to look to the relativity of the production when we are questioning this opportunity cost. Calculating the calculating comparative advantages, you have to calculate the opportunity cost of each goods and services as it is given in the scenario. First, we are going to calculate the least opportunity cost, which is better off each good for each country, and we calculate the opportunity cost for the products for the iron ore and then cars. First, we are looking to the iron ore, and then you are looking to this. You need to calculate the opportunity cost of 1 unit of iron ore from each country. As you are observing here, the China's opportunity cost of 1 unit of iron ore can produce 80 iron ore or 100 cars. Then iron ore is supposed to be equal to 100 cars in the production operation process. 1 to 1 is not, but it is supposed to be 80 iron ore is equal to 100 cars if, let's say, producing 1 hour. If you are producing 80 and in 1 hour producing 100, then you are observing car production becomes more eligible and more preferable. But let's see what is going to be. We need to make it 1 iron ore, so we divide both sides to 80. Therefore, we want to calculate the 1 to 1 for being able to calculate the opportunity cost. Therefore, we are dividing 80 iron ore to 80, and it becomes 1 iron ore for, let's say, 1 hour, and 100 cars will be divided to the 80 iron ore for being able to understand this replacement, this opportunity cost advantages. Then you have here, as you are observing, 1.25 cars, which is more. Then the iron ore one iron ore becomes 1.25 cars. Then Australia's opportunity cost of 1 unit of iron ore then should be also similarly realized. Then Australia's production is 70 iron ore is supposed to be equal to 50 cars. Then we need to make it 1 iron ore, so we divide both sides by 70. Then 70 iron ores is going to be 70 divided to 70, then will become my iron ore. Let's say 1 hour calculate at that level. And 50 cars, then here is you are observing when it is divided to 70, will offer us 0.71, which is less. Then 1 iron ore supposed to be equal to 0.71 cars, which is less. Then we are going a little bit further for making some suggestions. We now need to calculate the opportunity cost of 1 unit of cars from each country. Thus, it is the same process as we did, but we use 1 unit car instead. Then the China's opportunity cost of 1 unit car then will become 102. Then we are doing the vice versa. Then 100 cars will become to 80 iron ore. Then we are dividing again it. Then 100 cars will be divided to hundreds. Then 1 car is supposed to be 100 to 100 is 1. And 80 iron ore is going to divide to 100 cars. Then this makes 0.80 for iron ore. And then we are going to make this suggestion. 1 car is supposed to be 0.80 iron ore. And for the cars in Australia, the 50 cars is supposed to be equal to 70 iron ores. And then we need to make it 1 car. So we divide both sides by 50, and 50 to 50, it's make 1 car, let's say in 1 hour. And 70 irons divided to 50, then it makes 1.40. As you are observing, it is more than. Therefore, this is the unit cost advantages estimated here. Then the 1 car is supposed to be becomes 1.4 iron ore. Then we are putting this to the table for being able to understand. Then we are looking this opportunity cost in the product level. You are going to concentrate to the goods, not the inputs. Then iron ore and cars production in China and Australia will be then 1 iron ore. When we are looking to the China's iron ore is equal to 1.25 cars, and 1 car is equal to 0.80 iron ores. And when you are looking to the Australia, it makes 1 iron ore 0.71, and 1 car is making 1.40 1 iron ores or 4 iron ores. Therefore, Australia's lowest cost in iron ore and China's lowest cost in cars, we may say. Isn't because we are trying to make it lowest cost or lower cost for preferring to produce. Then comparative advantages is when a country can produce a good with the least production, because we are talking about the cost. Then you have to take this lower cost advantages. Lower relative cost in production or in products is becoming better off. In this example, the opportunity cost for the iron ore is 1.25 for cars in China and 0.71 cars in Australia. Therefore, Australia has the lowest opportunity cost for iron ore. It's therefore has an advantage in the production of iron ore, and China should have comparative advantage in cars because you are looking to the lowest or lower cost preferences in a given opportunity cost replacement or substitution. Calculating the comparative advantage for the inputs is a little bit different. Then we are, of course, using the same logic but having different application now. The same application but with different approach. Here, considering labor, as I said to you, this is then the input. And when we are considering this, for the same example, we are putting this labor hours for being able to understand how it is affecting and changing the market. 1 iron ore, if it is if 80 iron ore is 100 cars, 1 iron ore, how many cars? Then you are going to make this simplest percentage calculation. Then will gives you 1 times 100 over 80 as we did before. then it makes 1.25. If 100 cars is 80 iron ore, and 1 cars, how many iron ore will be? Then 1 multiplied with 80 divided 100 will be equal to 0.8. And to find the opportunity cost for Austria or Australia, then if 70 iron ore is 50 cars, then 1 iron ore, how many cars? Then it makes 1 times 50 dividing. This is the simplest cross multiplication. Then 1 times 50 dividing 70, because you know how it is going to calculate when you are taking this percentage estimations. Then you are going to divide this 50 to 70, then 0.71. Then if 50 cars is 70 iron ore, 1 cars, how many iron ore? Then 1 times 70 dividing 50, then will makes 1.40, or it makes 1.40, then is almost similar, but then approach is different. Let's see here. We are using this opportunity cost for inputs. Therefore, we are looking the highest numbers for measuring the contribution of these inputs. We are trying to make it more competitive. As I said to you in the former lectures, the contribution of the people is different. Let's say you are working in the printer house or printing home or place or factory, and one person on one employee brings in an hour 100 unit of copy, and the other one brings only 70. Therefore, you are preferring the 100 unit printer producer or the employee. This is then the similar. You are trying to accelerate your production operation process by using this performance of this employee or productivity, which is here the labor or employee. When we are looking to this example again for the China and Austria or Australia, I think is it, 80, 100, 70, and 50 again given, but now we are looking in 1 iron ore, it makes 1.25 cars for the China, and 1 car make 0.8 iron ore for the China and Austria or Australia. It makes 1 iron ore 0.71 cars, and for the cars, it makes 1 car 1.4 iron ore. Therefore, since we are questioning the inputs, as I said to you, you are looking the highest number for being able to compare and prefer as a give up opportunity or giving up opportunity to get something. Then the expect for this time, we are looking for the highest number as we are measuring inputs rather than outputs. The lowest opportunity cost of input is one with the highest contribution of inputs. Therefore, you are taking here now the highest one because it is the input in question. Then you may say the opportunity cost of 1 labor hour for iron ore is 1.25 labor hours of cars production in China and 0.71 labor hours of car production in Australia, as China has a comparative advantage in iron ore and Australia has comparative advantage in cars. China has advantage in iron ore because, as you are observing, it is higher in the percentage combination or comparison. 1.25 for the iron ore becomes to China, and for the Australia it is for the cars production very competitive. 1.4 iron ore is equal to 1 car. Therefore, it is preferred to use these options as it is written here. Australia has the advantage in cars and China has in iron ore. Here, higher relative cost in inputs is better off. As I said to you, you are taking the highest contribution of the inputs. As I said to you, for the printing house, 100 copy or copier. If you take somebody to copy you something, some book, you are working in the any copy shop, and if one person copy in an hour 100 pages and the other one copying 70 pages, and for you it is important to copy faster and print much because you are busy and you have full capacity working, then you prefer the one who is printing faster. Here is the same, the input advantages, which is here the labor or employee performance is questioned. then the more is better, and the lower opportunity cost will be neglected. Um, Assume they produce and consume in the following pattern. China will produce 20 iron ore and 75 cars. Now we are bringing these international relations to make some competitive market structure. 75 cars, as I said to you, and Australia will produce 40 iron ore and 21 cars will be in internal market consumed. This is the internal market. World production is supposed to be 60 iron and 96 cars. Therefore, when you are looking to this combination, you get these numbers, isn't it? Because 75 plus 21 will gives you 91, 96 for cars, and 40 plus 20 then will gives you 60 unit for the total market, if we assume there is only two country and two products in the market. As Australia has a lower opportunity cost in iron ore, hence a comparative advantage, it should specialize in the production of iron ore and become exporter. And China has a lower opportunity cost in cars, hence a comparative advantage, it should specialize in this production of cars and becomes exporter. You are understanding? This is the output. We are using this production with the products, not the input. Now we are having these numbers again here. The world market supposed to be is 60 and 96 because of this two country assumption or scenario. And then when we are looking to this, we say Australia should become specialized in iron ore production, and China should become in cars production, because we mentioned also here China should become in car production specialized, which is competitive, and Australia should become in iron ore because the opportunity cost is, lower. Then we are having here, because we are talking about the products, we are having here the market, and then when we are using this, then supposed to be Australia, which is 45 units is produced, 40 units is produced, and will become 5 units more, because we have here the car production 75 for the China, because we said China is going to become a trade partner for the car production, and the rest of this should be traded, isn't it? Because the market is 100 units, the world market. Therefore, 25 units is supposed to be exported, and this exported product is going to, and the Australia production for iron ore becomes from 40 to 45, because we assume they are having the bilateral trade relations and win-win policy, equal trade capacity, you consume and produce similarly in the countries. Therefore, it is shifting the production from 40 to 50, 45 units, and then the rest of this will be substituted from the other nations. Therefore, the trade capacity is shifted from 60 to 70, as you are observing here, and the market is also for the cars is also increased to 100 units, which means the trade capacity was 40 units for the Australia for the iron ore, but now it is becoming 45 units because of these trade relations. It is shifting the market from 40 to 45, and for the car production it was 100 units it's supposed, but as you see it is 75 units for the China was realized, but the rest is supposed to be substituted with the trade relations, and it was 21, but now is going to be 25, and it is shifting it from 21 to 25 and increasing 4 units for the Australia either. Therefore, 5 units trade capacity increase realized for the iron ore, 5 units for the Australian iron ore, and for the car production in Australia, it is shifted from 21 to 25, and bilaterally the market is enlarged and increased in this given scenario. And using the 1 iron ore equal to 1 car exchange rate, China trades 100 before trade, 75 in a given scenario consumed in the internal markets, and 25 its surplus car for 25 units of iron ore traded to China. Therefore, the rest of this 100, which was the production capacity for the China is 75, will be replaced with the international trade and shifted the market from 75 to 100 and enlarge the market towards to the Australia, and this is then the trade impact. And as a result, Australia also receives 25 cars in exchange for 25 of iron ores. This was bilateral trade relation is expected to be in the market. And when we look to this comparative advantages example, which is bringing you a little bit more understanding, using all the resources country can produce, A can produce 30, let's say, million cars of or 6 million trucks, and country B produced 35 cars or 35 million cars and 21 million trucks. This can be summarized as it is given in the table. In this case, country B has the absolute advantage in producing both products, but it has the comparative advantages in truck because it is relatively better producing them. Country B is then when we are using this opportunity cost application, then 21 to 6 will gives you then 35, 2.5 times better at trucks, and only when we are dividing 35 to 30 in the cars, it makes 1.17 times better at cars, which means country B has better off when they have produced more trucks comparing to cars. And country A, when you're dividing 30 to 30, is 0.85 better at cars production. You are observing for the B, country B, and only 6 over 21, sorry, is making 0.28 times better at trucks. This means country A should become trade partner in cars production because the comparative advantages and the opportunity cost is higher because we concentrated to the products. And for the country B is 3.5 times better at trucks production comparing to the cars, because cars production relative cost advantages is only 1.17. This means country B becomes trade partner in trucks production and trade, and country A is becoming trade partner in cars production and producer for this in the international market.
Sir,
Economic theory. Yes, please.
yes, sir.
I'm
What is the
listening.
difference between absolute advantage and comparative advantage? Can you explain me this?
Absolute advantage is the real cost advantage. You are looking the numbers only. When you are looking here the numbers, the B is always preferable, isn't it? B has 21 trucks and 35 cars, let's say million or unit trucks. Okay, therefore absolute advantage is looking to the numbers, to the amount of the production, or to the price. And if it is price, you see B in any case better off. You understand? For the absolute advantage story, you are looking to the numbers, to the units, or to the price. And here, as I said to you, B has the absolute advantages in both production. But when you are looking to the comparative advantages, you have to make this comparison, the relative cost advantages, so-called the opportunity cost advantages. And when you are doing this, the relative cost advantages, so-called the lower relative cost advantages, should be the best possible option for the country. And here we are having B 21 over 6, 3.5 times better at truck production because we are using the final products, not the input. Therefore, we are taking the better position of the production where they are having the highest one. And the car production, you are having 1.17 because 35 divided 30 is making is equal to 1.17, and this is then lower than country B production. But as I said to you, we are taking here the final products, and in final products you have to take the comparative advantages where the country is better off when you are making this comparison, because you are talking about the numbers for the production, but the relative number, relative preferences, relative cost advantage. And country A, as I calculated, is 0.85 for the cars and 0.28 for the trucks. Therefore, you are observing relative advantages, cost advantages becoming higher for the trucks in country B, and for the country A is for the cars. From this point of view, we may say country B should become a trade partner in trucks production, and trucks exporter should become. And for the country A, the cars production is becoming better off and should become specialized in this direction for becoming a trade partner, because we are taking the opportunity cost or relative cost advantages for the both countries. And when we are considering this relative lower cost or relative preferences in the output or in the products, the both countries becoming better off when you are making this opportunity cost advantages. Is it clear? Or shall I have to repeat some part? If you don't understand, you ask me.
So just can you explain me comparative advantage again?
Again,
Yeah.
comparative advantages are you writing something, or you can watch these videos in YouTube. Ergin Fikri Akalber is in YouTube. I am uploading for you. You can also watch there and you will listen and understand. As I said to you, comparative advantages based on the relative cost advantage, relative lower cost advantages. You are understanding? But for the input,
Yes, sir.
you can use this for the output, for the better off. Which product become better off when you are making this opportunity cost advantages. And here, as you observe, when we are dividing the products capacity each other for being able to understand the opportunity cost, which country will become a trade partner, you have here the country B, 21 divided 6 is going to be 3.5 for the, and 35 divided 30, 1.17 for the cars. Therefore, the country B's comparative advantages, you making this comparison between the country's production, you are understanding. Therefore, country B's performance is better off when we are taking the trucks production, because it says 3.5 times better than the other countries' performance, because you are dividing the production between countries. And when you are looking to the cars, you are dividing each products to each other. Then 35 divided 30, then will makes 1.70, which means it is almost 2.5% more than the cars production, better off to produce B. Therefore, country B will become a trade partner, because the relative cost advantages here is higher comparing to the cars production. And country A is going to again divide to 30 to 35, because now you are going to take the upper part to the country B, and to the B, then 30 to 35 will make 0.685 for the cars production, and for the trucks 6.6 divided to 21 is going to make 0.28, which means cars production becomes eligible, and country A should become specialized in the car production for becoming a trade partner in this given example. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
The opportunity cost, when you have here the input advantages, then this is then the lowest one. Sorry, the highest one you're going to take consider. Okay, you're going to make a comparison. You have here again the economic theory suggests that if country apply the principle of comparative advantages, combined output will be increased in comparison with the output that would be produced if the two countries try to become self-sufficient and allocate resources towards production of both countries. As I said to you, since here the comparative advantages is higher for the products and lower for the input products and lower for the output, then you are observing the preferences becoming eligible for the country's performance. And taking this example, if country A and B allocate resources evenly to both goods, combined output is for the cars 15 plus 15 is 30 as it is given here. And for the trucks 12 plus 3 is going to make 15. Therefore, world output is going up to 45 units. Therefore, if both countries become self-sufficient and allocate their resources or scarce resources evenly, they will produce the following combined output. For the B, 12y plus 15x, which means this is then the simplest equation for combining these two products. And for the A is equal to 3y plus 15x is the simplest estimation. And when you are adding this to each other, then output is equal to 15y plus 30x, which means equal to 40 units of these two products. And then specializing and the trade, if both countries specialize based on their comparative advantages, world output will be B equal to 21 unit plus 0, it says, and A is equal to 0 multiplied y plus 30 units, because you are going to give up the other production because you are not competitive. Then the output is going to be 21 units for the y, which is the trucks, and 30 unit x for the cars. Then the output in the world market is changing and increasing in a given scenario when they are giving up each other's production, which is in the scenario given. Then the 21y plus 30x, which means the 21 units of trucks plus 30 units of cars, or x, is going to make 51 unit combination of these two products, is higher than the self-sufficiency. Therefore, specialization and trade relations, increasing the trade capacity and enlarging the market for bilaterally, if we are going to concentrate and consider this opportunity cost advantages for the recovery. Is it clear, or shall I have to refresh once again? Do you have any question? No question? Do you have question? I think I quit. I don't know, something happens and the slides gone. I'm uploading again. You have a question? Are you here? Do you listening?
No, sir.
Teacher, teacher,
You don't listen.
yes, we listen it to you.
You are listening.
But I will,
You are hearing me.
yeah, I need to know about exam on Monday.
Yes, I will tell you, but let me finish this chapter first. Let me finish my
Okay.
presentation. If you do have any, if you have any question, tell me. If you don't, then I will go through to finish. You don't have any question, because
No, I don't have question.
is it clear? As I said to you here, country B becomes trade partner in the trucks because they have the lower advantages in the inputs, or probably the factors of production. And for country A, they have for the cars. And when we are going here, as I said to you, self-sufficiency is only 45 because we are adding 41 and 35 each other. Then it makes 51 for the trade specialization. And when you are not taking this trade specialization and just only combine these two self-sufficiencies, then it makes only 45 units for the country's performance. It is given here. Due to this, as we may say, trade specialization and the world market, becoming a world market trader is always preferable because it is increasing the capacity of the producers and become specialized in the production where they are having higher opportunity cost or for the inputs and lower opportunity cost for the cost. The gradient of production positive frontier reflects the opportunity cost of production. Increasing the opportunity cost of one good means that less of another can be produced. The gradient reflects the lost output of Y as a result of increasing the output of X. For B, it is minus, it is 0.63/5. It makes 0.6 for the given example. And for A, it is 1/5 in a given scenario because you are giving up something and getting something. You see the differences between this changing the market structure. You are increasing from 40 because it was given for the market from 15 to 12 you are downing, and from 43 you are reducing your capacity, and the X or the car production is not changing. As you are observing here, this replacement is reducing the X. For the B, 0.6 unit as a reduction minus, or you may say unit, and 0.2 where it is reduced because you're moving from 1 to 15, it is 5, 1 to 5, 1/5. And for the country B, it is moving from 3 to 5, again, is making 0.6 the reduction in the economy, and hence they become specialized in X for the cars, and B for the trucks is expected to increase and enlarge the market, but some reduction in the economy is observed. And which country will become a trade partner in steel production if we are going to concentrate to the input again, so-called the labor, for finding again the input opportunity cost. If 100 steel is 80 iron ore, one steel, how many iron? Then you are going to make again the simplest percentage calculation, and it makes 0.80. And for the Germany we are talking about, and Italy is the simplest example I'm giving you to finish this class. And for the iron ore, 80 iron ore is 100 steel, 1 iron ore, how many iron ore? Then 1 times 100 dividing to 80, then will give you 1.25 for the iron ore in Germany. And for finding the input opportunity cost for Italy, if 150 steel is 200 iron ore, then 170 iron ore, 1 times 200 dividing to 150, then it makes 1.33 for the Italy steel production opportunity cost. And for the iron ore for the Italy, 200 iron ore is 150 steel, and 1 iron ore, how many steel? Then 1 times 150 dividing to 200, it makes 0.25. Therefore, Italy becomes a trade partner in steel production, because opportunity cost of 1 labor hour of steel is 0.8 hours of iron ore production in Germany, and 1.33 labor hour of iron ore in Italy. Therefore, Italy has the highest input use in steel and lowest input output opportunity cost in the iron ore usage. In input, as I said to you, should get the highest one. And for the Germany, from this example, the highest input usage is observed in the iron ore. Therefore, iron ore is becoming eligible for the trade partners. This was the simplest introduction to you, the opportunity cost, for being able to understand the, in normal conditions, when you are looking to the table, you are observing Italy has more advantages in steel production and iron ore, but when you are concentrating to the opportunity cost advantages, especially the input, you observe the highest comparison to each other of the country's production and performance. The highest input opportunity cost is better off. Therefore, Italy becomes a trade partner in steel production, and in Germany is becoming a trade partner in iron ore, as I mentioned to you in a given example. Do you have any question? Is it clear?
Yes, right on.
Yes, please. Yes, I'm listening. You have question, you said?
No, 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 no. I said you right on, right on.
Okay. Okay, then this was the class for today. If you have any question about the exam or about the class, you can ask me or you can write me. If don't, then I will stop here. Then we will go on with the exam. If you want any information about the exam, I will give you. Yes, please.
Oja,
Yes, I'm
what are
listening.
we what are we to do for the exam? What are we to read about?
I will give you some 20 or 25 question, maximum 20 question, maybe some 25, I don't know. I'm planning to make test with some calculations and some theoretical estimations with the options, with the CD will be given to you and you have to answer it. There will be no flashback to the questions. There you are going to read the question only once and you are answering it. And maybe 1 hour I will give you for this exam. It will not be difficult. It will be from the book and from your theoretical PowerPoints that I am offering you, from new videos that I am offering you. You should study and try to understand and analyze the concept, and this will help you to answer the questions, because I don't like to ask you the statement. I don't like to ask you questions for memorizing. I like questions where you are getting the knowledge. You understand? I don't want to bother you with memorizing something for what is comparative advantages theory, for example, in a sentence, maybe ask, but this will not ask you definition, but I will ask you the understanding. You have understood? Maybe in an example or in a simplest explanation for being able to answer these questions, or what is microeconomics, what is macroeconomics. It can be theoretically, but I'm not going to ask you the demand or supply, what is demand, or how you are going to estimate. I will put you questions for being able to understand the impact to the consumers, to impact to the economy. What is equilibrium is not asked, but how it is affecting the equilibrium economical performance, whether it is lower or, insufficient economical performance, scarcity or overproduction, how it is affecting the market, such questions. Or maybe I will put you some equations for the supply demand, or for the comparative advantage that we have done today, will be asked to you in the exam either. Okay?
Okay, sir. When
Okay.
be the exam?
The exam is on Monday at 9 o'clock. It will be online, so you have to attend to the online exam. You may open your camera and your system should be wait until 9, then the exam will be automatically uploaded. You're gonna assignment in Microsoft Teams. You will go to the Microsoft Teams assignments and download the exam to do. Okay?
Sir, how long is the paper?
Which paper? The exam
Yeah, the exam.
is around 1 hour, as I said to you. It's not too much. It will not be too long. 1 hour, 20 questions, maybe something like this. It's okay, I think. I usually ask 30 or 35 questions, but we are here. Is
Hello, sir.
anybody who's asking me? Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Please. Is the school going to maybe upload the exam timetable, because Um, I think on that Monday we have a math exam as well, so we will know how to study for the exams. I'm just
Why?
asking directly. Yes, let me just check it and show you, sir.
Okay.
On Monday we have a math exam by
Yes.
12.
When I need ọmọ yìí ṣe fún mi nọ́mbà ọmọ yìí ṣe ó ní kò sí kún ẹ ṣe mo ní kò sí tó kún ẹ pẹ̀lú mo ẹ ṣe just give me.
JC, please off your
Uh,
mic.
You have at 9 another exam or later?
Yeah. I think later.
Yes,
And
but I
and
don't.
sir,
I don't need.
I want to.
Yes.
Okay, I want to ask a question. If actually we have to draw a graph, is it
Yes.
how are we going to do it? Are we going to draw it in our draft book and show it to the camera?
No, I will not ask you anything to draw or something calculate. I will ask you a
Okay,
question
sir.
and the answer will be given to you in the options. This is multiple choice exam. You understand? You have to
Okay,
calculate by yourself.
sir.
You have to draw the graphic by yourself with your papers, with your draft papers. But I don't consider this. You have to put the answer only to the system. You have to indicate
Okay,
A
sir.
is correct, B is correct, C is correct only. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. Then
Hello, sir.
Monday at 9 o'clock.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. Have a nice weekend. Bye bye.
Sir,
Yes, please.
sir, only MCQs are coming, yes? Not question and answers.
Ask me once again.
Sir, only MCQs are coming in the exam, yes?
Only.
MCQs, multiple choice question. Or do we have to
Yes.
answer?
No, only multiple choice. No
And
classical.
sir, how many chapters are coming? All the chapters are coming?
No, chapter 23, 24, 25. For the micro, I think it is started from chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think. I don't know which chapter we go. I have to look up. Let me check, okay?
Yeah, because you have done after chapter 4, you have done 3.1, then 3.2, and then 3.3,
Yes,
3.3.
then 4,
Yes.
I did 4. Yes, because I flashback, because I wanted to give you first the chapter 4, and then, so you have to do until, let me open it and I will tell you, okay?
Okay, sir.
I will tell you, don't worry. I'm telling you. Okay, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and chapter 5. In chapter 4 only, with these contributions. There will be no other chapter. 5 is not included.
Okay,
Okay,
so sir,
only
we
the
will
first
just
chapter.
do till chapter 4. Okay.
Yes, 4 chapter only, and after the midterm, I will go through the elasticity. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. Then bye bye.
Thank you, sir, very much, sir. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Same to you. Bye bye.